Go away. Get over it.
Outrageous.
Go in. Dump your head somewhere. What Stephen needs is some rock and roll. Stephen with the PH.
Times are changing, we're entering fall, but I'm not seeing no change at all. A record broken goes on and on. I ask myself, how could I be so wrong? That's nonsense, boy, you listen to me. Stay on there, say you'd be a fool to leave the gates to the world. Now the bolt is shut. Somebody release me from the shrub. Stand up, and face the fire. Stand up, the future is out of sight. Stand up, got to clear the road. Escape this hell, yeah, the small to behold. To hit the road, city to city, no fixed up boat plane. 1 to 100, no, I didn't care. For once in my life, my soul was sitting out there. Stand up, and face the fight. Stand up, the future was out of sight. Stand up, got to clear the road. Escape this hell, yeah, there's more to behold. Stand up, and face the fire. Stand up, the future is out of sight. Stand up, you've got to clear the road. Escape this hell, yeah, there's more to behold.
I think that's one of the best records ever to come out of Northern Ireland. I'm serious about that. That's Circadian, and it's only a bit of a demo as far as I know. They're a bunch of young whippersnappers. I think they're from either Ballyclare. Do you know Ballyclare or Carryduff? If anybody rings up telling us they're from Ballyclare or Carryduff, it's like Bert McCormick. You don't know if he's from Ballyclare or Ballycastle. Why all this confusion? Why do I not know?
You're worse than that other clown.
Speaking of that other clown, do you see how he completely went to pieces?
Aye.
You see, this is what's wrong with him. And I must talk to him in private because, I talk to him occasionally, talk him down. Yeah. He's very vulnerable. Yeah. You see, whenever he hasn't got phones, he has nothing to fall back on. You and I don't care if the phones are working or not. But you know why? Because we have personalities. We've got something inside. He's empty inside. There's nothing there. Yes. If he has nobody there to stoke the flames, he can't function because there's nobody in there. It's a big tub of lard with nothing in it.
I thought you handled it well.
I thought so. I told him to go and
boil his head.
Yeah. But that might discourage him. Yeah. He threw his toys out of the pram. And did you hear the music was playing?
Yeah.
You see, he knows nothing. He knows nothing. We come on here. Our phones are probably not working.
I don't know.
Well, if his aren't working, ours won't be. Okay. Let's just try. We'll say that the number is 08459 555 678. Sorry.
That was nearly the number.
I nearly made it.
Yes.
08459 555 678. According to the Lord boy, the phones aren't working. So perhaps you could maybe tweak your little phone and see if indeed you can get through.
Right.
I'm listening to see if anybody's ringing.
No, you won't hear it.
No, but I'm looking at
No,
it. I'll see your head going down like a
they're
monkey.
silent.
They're silent. They are
The
silent.
phones are on. The phones are on.
They don't seem to be working. Anyway, not to worry. Keep
No,
trying.
there they are.
Ah, there they are. He's lying.
see.
Maybe nobody rang him at all. Maybe he just thinks the phones are broken. It's like Hugo. As far as Hugo's concerned, the phones are jammed. The phones are jammed. The phones are always jammed. The phones are jammed. The phones are always jammed. Good luck. 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 God bless. God bless. God bless.
Thank you.
Is that me? Thank you. Thank you to me.
No, thank you. To
Oh,
that
you're ringing
call,
somebody
the
up?
call.
Okay.
Just to say the test.
A test.
That's a test.
Right. The email address to contact this programme, and we don't get annoyed when things go wrong. How many things have gone wrong in this programme? You want to see what Ken just did?
What?
Did you see what Ken just did? You missed that, didn't
I
you?
did. Yes.
He opened the door and he did something. It involved a microphone. That's all I'm going to say. Well, what do I have to put up with this?
There are people
There's a
listening
man beginning his program, and suddenly
people-
a man comes in, and just purely for badness tries to throw me. The email address is jerry.anderson@bbc. What's going on in there?
There's a man walking behind us.
What does he want?
I don't know.
What did he do? He came in and gave you something. What did he give you? Piece of paper?
No, he pointed to the speaker in the corner. Whatever. I just says. Okay.
No, it's the curtain.
Oh, the curtain.
It's the curtain, yeah. You see, he felt left out because you'd pulled the curtain on him. 08459 555 678. That's the phone number, and apparently the phones are working. The email address is jerry.anderson@bbc.co.uk, and the text messaging service for those of you, well, you know who you are. It's 81771.
Stephen from Newry is listening to you in Greece
What is he?
via the internet, and he says it's very, very warm, but waiting for the golf to start soon on television.
You see, why doesn't he just enjoy Greece instead of worrying about those guys with wigs on? We see them all wearing wigs.
Yeah.
What's that all about? It's got golfing stuff, isn't it?
It all starts today.
I
you
know.
see. Good fun.
There's a man writes in some disarray. He says, please play a song, please play called Up on the Roof for my wife who has broken out of her padded cell. She's holding off the police with loaded bedpans and the buckles from straitjackets. And he said, some people are beautiful, some women are beautiful when they're mad. She isn't one of those. You see, there's a dilemma, going on. And then a lady writes to me and she says, my address is 26, Mahrafelt, gives a postcode, and she said, I've omitted my county on principle. That'll be County Londonderry. As a vaguely dyslexic outsider here, I've been calling it and writing Derry for a few years before I discovered that I was making a political statement, so I know I don't write anything. 5 letters better than 11, she says. And she says, Dear Jerry, with regards to the Certificate of Freedom of the Seas, do you remember we talked about that yesterday? A man rang up about the HMS Platypus, and we didn't think it was a real boat, and then you found out through your wonderful Googling ability that there is such a ship.
Mm-hmm. It was sold for scrap in 1945, was it?
You see?
58, sorry, 1958.
The things that you know.
Yeah.
I wonder if it could relate to, yes, it is the old ceremony, let me just clear that up, of crossing the line, that's what it was called. Apparently a long time ago, and maybe still today, on our cruise ships.
Had you no hankering for the sea?
No.
Having worked on the docks and lived near having worked for the, what was it, Steve?
R.E. Burke and Company,
Yeah.
Londonderry Shipbrokers and Forwarding Agents, Portugal.
Yes. But you've been dealing with ships.
Yeah.
You lived beside the River Foyle
Yes.
all your life as a young boy.
Yeah.
And so the sea was there, the water was there, and then you working with dockers. And was there no call of the old
The
briny?
sea, oh, carads and mackerel long may it roll between England and me. Well, let me just say there are two things to talk about there, and maybe perhaps I could explain my position. I indeed was born beside the River Foyle. As a matter of fact, when it came high, it flooded into our house. So the Foyle has been in our home where we used to live. We used to live right down beside the Foyle. But see, nobody that I knew ever had any interest in the river because we thought it belonged to somebody else.
Yeah. And then you had a sailor.
We had a sailor, and we had a chief petty officer lived in our house. See, every once in a while, do you remember HMS Neverbudge?
Yes.
That was a ship that never went anywhere.
The stalker.
A stalker, a Royal Navy vessel, and it was full of soldiers and men like this. And so what happened was the officers could take accommodation on shore if they wished, but the enlisted men and the 9/8s, the 8/5s, what do you call them, 5/8s?
5/8s.
They had to stay on the ship, but the enlisted men had to stay on the ship, but the officers and petty officers, they could take accommodation ashore.
they? I never knew
Yes,
that.
and you see, you know nothing about life.
You lived there, but you serviced those men, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
John, could you ask him to rephrase that?
But you ran errands
No,
for them.
but,
That's what I
but
mean.
there's a longer history than that. You see, we lived in quite a large house. Now, it was never never owned it. We never had any money. We rented it, and we shouldn't have been in it because the landlord devoted his life to getting us out of it. But he never succeeded in getting us out of it until the IRA blew it up, and then we had
I
to
want
leave
to
it.
ask you a question about your house in a moment or two.
Okay. Anyway, we had quite a large house, so my mother realised that we could take in lodgers. Now, we had, at one particular time in our house, and this was not unusual, we had 7 girls, 2 bus drivers, a British Navy petty officer, and a semi-retired woman, and then plus our family.
I mean, a semi-retired woman.
Semi-retired woman, a woman of a certain age, who had her own little room up the top, and she looked after herself. And the chief petty officer had a little apartment, like a bed sit, just one room, and a little stove and everything. So I used to get up in the morning, I used to see a man coming down the stairs with a British Navy uniform. And actually, another time, we had great contact with the Navy. I remember one time before, and I think I mentioned this before, we always used to keep our door open. And being beside the docks, there was many, many ships. The NATO exercises were every once in a while, so you'd have a situation whereby ships from all over the world would converge, the North Atlantic NATO Treaty Organization. They do exercises in the North Atlantic. So you'd have maybe 10,000 sailors, American sailors, Canadian, British, Swedish, Portuguese, Dutch,
There wouldn't
Danish.
have been that many.
Yeah.
Ach, there wouldn't have been 10,000
Yes.
sailors. Ach, you're
Yes.
Where'd you put
You weren't
them all?
allowed out. You weren't allowed out. You didn't see
You couldn't
anything.
get 10,000 sailors onto a boat or boats.
There were a number.
Yeah, but you couldn't get.
There
how,
were scores of them.
how many boats would it take for 10,000 sailors?
Maybe 40 or 50. You know what I mean? And there was that many boats in there. They all came in at the same time, but they couldn't all get shore leave at the same time, so their shore leave was staggered. And then when they went on shore leave, they staggered as well. So
10,000?
Yeah. Somebody will ring up and tell you I'm right, because I know this. And what happened was that maybe at any given time there would be about 2,000 sailors, and when sailors get off a boat, there's 2 things they look for: drink and women, in that order. And then they go to museums, right? But first of all, they get drink and they look for women. So we lived right beside the ships. And I remember not being able to sleep unless there was somebody outside going, "Rah, rah, rah." I couldn't sleep until I heard the clink of a broken bottle. But anyway, some strange things used to happen. For instance, I used to sleep in a room upstairs and there were 4 beds in it. And there was nobody in it except me. And I woke up one morning and there was a sailor in one of the beds and his hat was on the floor. I think I told you this before.
Yes,
Well, I was just finishing.
Yeah.
And so I went downstairs and he was snoring and going, you know. And I went downstairs and I said to my mother, I said, Mommy, there's a sailor in bed. And she said, what nationality is he? So I went up and looked at his hat. You can always tell.
Yes.
And he was Swedish. I came down and I said, he seems to be Swedish. And I said, what are we doing? She says, go up and ask him what he wants for his breakfast. So I went, excuse me? I spoke Swedish at the time. What do you want for your breakfast? And I went, well, yeah. Anyway, she gave him a bacon and eggs and he went home. And he was as happy as Larry and he thanked everybody and he said he would come back. And we said, don't bother. Now, just go home to your home in Stockholm. Anyway, I never had any urge to go on the foil because we thought it belonged to somebody else. And any time we went near the water, remember the dock cornies, the dock police? They'd shout at you and all. You know, we just thought it was theirs and wasn't belonged to us. But I never had any notion to go to the sea. R.A. Burke and Company, I used to come on all those ships. I was a customs... what happened was when a ship came in, a representative from the shipping agents had to be there to make sure that they had everything they needed. So I was the guy who did that, and I was only like 18. For instance, I once took 20 men in a number of taxis to Alton Galway Hospital to casualty.
We know.
Because of a little thing that was
Yes.
wrong with them.
Yes.
And I had to explain to the girl, I said, I have 20 Spanish sailors here, and the same thing is wrong with all of them. And she said, what would that be? So I whispered it to her, and she went, oh dear. Anyway, that's another story.
Yes.
Anyway, I was tempted to go to sea one time because there was a boat one time called the Manja Dan, which was a Danish or Swedish boat, I'm not quite sure, a lovely big boat. And the captain kind of liked me, you see. So he said to me one day, he said, we have a position here for cabin boy working for my what's the word he used? For his, whatever he was, There was a word he used, I can't remember what it was. But in other words, it was like a little boy to help him.
Yes.
He said, I wonder, would you be interested in such a position? And I went, I don't think so. Right?
Well, why not?
I could have been right. I said, where are you going? He said, going to Rio de Janeiro. I said to myself, now, hold on a minute. I was in Buncrana last week, and maybe perhaps if I get really lucky, I'll go to Belfast. Now, here's a man asking me to go to Rio de Janeiro. But even then, I had the warning bell. No. No, I never had any urge to go to sea, nor to go on the river, nor have any nautical leanings of any kind. Anyway, crossing
Anyway,
the line.
I was talking to this man about you.
Yes.
This man you were the subject of this
subject of conversation.
Right.
Yes.
And we were discussing where you lived.
Yes.
You see, and we both agreed the street was being Sackville Street, but where the actual location of your house. And I was saying he lived quite near. Do you remember that lovely store, McMichael's?
Yes,
I said he
Ship
lived
Chandler's.
somewhere around there. Not at all, the man says. No. He lived halfway up the street over the. It was a very exclusive pub or restaurant. No,
The Savoy Grill.
He said he lived over the Savoy.
No, I didn't live over the Savoy Grill. I lived beside it.
Well, that's what he said. Your house, your door was next door to it.
Absolutely, yes.
That's what he said. He says, I know. I was at school with him.
What age is this man?
Well, I would say he's a man, and he said he was in the same class as you. I would say
What age is he?
In his mid-40s.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right. Crossing the line, when a sailor crossed the equator for the first time, a crew member disguised as King Neptune lathered his face, usually with a whitewash brush, and shaved. Then he was ducked, though only in a makeshift bath on deck. I've only ever heard of keel hauling as a punishment, and a very drastic one at that. I said yesterday mistakenly that people keel hauled each other for sport, but they did not. Keel hauling was a very, very dangerous thing to do, and many men died, particularly in the 17th, 18th, and 19th century. It hasn't been done the last century.
No, a man.
This ceremony was supposed to give something like the freedom of the seas. Anyway, thank you. Anne Brown, she's a 76-year-old sailor's granddaughter. Sorry for the scribble. My ailing husband is hungry, she says.
There's a man on a mobile.
Good morning, man on mobile.
Hello?
Yes, hello, how are you?
Jerry, I'm just looking to ask you a quick question.
Yes?
It wasn't that, it was another one. I'm looking if you know if there's a dump in Coleraine.
Yeah, there's one near. It's called the University of Ulster. No, I'm only joking.
No, a dump to dump soil and stones and gravel and all that kind of stuff.
Sean, you're an expert of this kind of local knowledge. To your knowledge, is there any kind of municipal dump near Coleraine? Well,
Yeah, golf courses, but I wouldn't like to use them. Cause
I'll use the golf course. Go on, put it on the on the bunkers.
No,
There's big
dude.
holes there full of sand. Put all your stuff there. It'll stop them. Keep them in the house. Well, maybe someone will ring us and tell us if there's a dump in Coleraine. We don't usually normally talk about dumps in Coleraine on this programme, but I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't.
that's it. Jerry, I was on the phone here about two and a half years ago.
Uh-huh.
I asked you if you knew anybody that had a Kelly band or anybody could get me one.
That's the that's the punchline of an old joke. Where would you get a Cayley band at this time of night? I won't tell you the rest of the joke though.
I think I'm a wee bit young for that. But you got me one, so I'm hoping you can get me a dump and keep your 100% record up, you know.
Well, I've got you a Cayley band. There's no reason why I can't get you a dump because they are related. All right then, I'll try and get you one. A dump in Coleraine, should I speak?
Did you want the Cayley band for a wedding?
That was for my own wedding, yes. I was on the golf course at the time.
And
Yes,
what Cayley
remember.
band did you get?
A Kelly band, I don't know. They played Irish music, that's all I know.
Mm-hmm. Did you cross their palm with silver?
Of course, I had to give them some money, you know.
That's good. I'm just checking. You know, sometimes people think these things are for nothing.
Were you on the golf course with the morning we talked to you?
That's right. That's right. I was on the sixth. The
There you
sixth
are.
tee.
Isn't that a wonderful memory I have? That's 2.5 years ago, and I remember that.
Anything to do with golf is immediately planted in your brain, never to be removed.
There you are.
All
And
right,
I
then
nearly-
we'll try and get you a dump in Coleraine. Maybe somebody will be kind enough to ring us and tell us the location of such a dump. Okay?
No problem, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Brian Fitzpatrick has written a critique of this programme. He said, "Thanks for telling me that you were tanned rather than crimson red after your recent holiday. Must adjust the colour setting on my television. Is tanned in other ways something else up where you live and work?" Then a mate says, "Perhaps Anderson has had work done to himself, as Mr. Coyle hinted on Monday." Did you hint that I had a little surgery done?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you say that? I mean, that's a cruel jibe, because you know that's not true.
No, the girls maintain you have.
I haven't
The girls tell me.
I haven't had anything done.
The girls tell me you're doing something because there's certain things disappearing off your face.
warts. No,
Lines.
I put that down to my revolutionary beauty treatment, which I've adhered to over this past 2 or 3 months. It's working for me.
Yes.
It's a particular moisturizer.
But Janet said there's a big change in you.
I know there's a big change in me because it's
Your
inner
muscles
peace.
seem to be more relaxed in your face or something.
Are you trying to say that I use Botox?
I'm not saying anything. It's the girls.
I'm
I
going to say,
don't look at your own
I'm
big.
going to say something now to you.
Yeah.
I've never ever used anything that resembles Botox. I've never had any kind of a surgery. That call that Daniel O'Donnell made to me was not about that. I haven't had anything done because I maybe look younger than I normally do. Is because I've discovered the secret of happiness. It's never to stay in at night. No, I'm at peace within myself, and that you can see I'm like Francis of Assisi, or indeed one of the other saints.
Craigmore Road
Yes.
in Coleraine.
Uh-huh.
That's where the dump is.
Craigmore Road in
Craigmore
Coleraine,
Road.
all those people, the world will lead a path to its door. Then a mate says perhaps Anderson has had work done. Must be a massive renovation work with him red-skinned tanned. The same mate says, aye, someone tanned the hide off him. Wednesday's show hit the heights and slammed to the bottom. The heights? Graham McDowell buying a car. Man, he liked that. Had me actually laughing out loud rather than the odd titter. Well done, Laurel and Hardy. Then, just after the news, the pieces of music, awesome, but more so the Guy Clark song. Once again, Jerry, a fine choice of song with great singing and fine lyrics. A song that touched the soul for all the wrong reasons. So, every so often this occurs, a piece of music of an artist that I would not include in my taste of music. Any details of that CD the song comes from? What was with the rush to end the telephone call from John about the Henry McCullough interview? Was one in dire need of spending some money to go to another little room? And now the lows. After Guy Clark, a clearly joyful Jerry inquires of Mr. Coyle whether he liked the choice just played, and there it was, neither a growl nor a grunt, and definitely not a sigh, but enough to indicate a weariness of something. Had there been a forgetfulness for Alka-Seltzer after the 19th hole the night before? This man's complaining about you not reacting to things that are obviously of quality. Yet later on, a cheery Jerry throws to Sean Work Coyle a big opening on the Ryder Cup. He asked him about the golf and a little wager, and he said, I don't know. What was all that about? Talk about a killjoy. It could be heard your amazement at the refusal to engage on a favourite topic. You earned your wages yesterday. Do you get a cut of Sean's wages for him? You see, this is true. See, whenever you're in bad form, I should get your money.
I don't be in bad form.
You are in bad form always on a Monday.
You God forgive you.
You can't talk on a Monday.
That's not true.
You can't
That man's
talk
talking
on-
about Wednesday.
But I'm talking about Monday too. You're the same as Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. You can't talk on a Monday because you're dull, because you're playing golf at the weekend. You're dull. It's only on Tuesday you start waking up.
No, Tuesday's my bad day. Tuesday was the day I was born.
Last Tuesday? It's
I
time
was
you got your
born on it.
time you got your nappy changed.
What day of the week were you born on?
I don't know.
I mean, you don't know.
Nobody ever told me.
Just look it up.
All right, I was born on the 28th of... Oh. I was close. And I'd have had to give the year there, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I'm not giving that.
Apparently you were on Radio 1 yesterday.
I'm on it all the time.
The best bits of your show.
That's right. I was in Channel 4 the night before. I think they're starting to discover me. Do you think it's too late?
Not at all.
I don't think so either.
I am sitting in the morning at the diner on the corner. I am waiting at the counter for the man to pour the coffee, and he fills it only halfway, and before I even argue, he is looking out the window at somebody coming in. It is always nice to see you, says the man behind the counter to the woman who has come in. She is shaking her umbrella, and I look the other way as they are kissing their hellos, and I'm pretending not to see them, and instead I pour the milk. I open up the paper, there's a story of an actor who had died while he was drinking. It was no one I had heard of, and I'm turning to the horoscope and looking for the funnies when I'm feeling someone watching me, and so I raise my head. woman on the outside looking inside. Does she see me? No, she does not really see me, 'cause she sees her own reflection. And I'm trying not to notice that she's hitching up her skirt, and while she's straightening her stockings, her hair has gotten wet. Oh, this rain, it will continue through the morning as I'm listening to the bells of the cathedral. I am thinking of your voice and of the midnight picnic once upon a time before the rain began. And I finish up my coffee, and it's time to catch the train.
That's Suzanne Vega, of course. I'm rediscovering Suzanne Vega. I like her, you know. She's done a thing which is very
All
unusual.
right, okay, what's your phone number?
She's very unusual in that, do you know, when people have a bit of a hit and then they kind of, you know, leave it and they do something else? Well, she has gone back to these songs and re-recorded them and made them better, actually. That's Tom's Diner, and I played 2 tracks yesterday. They're actually better. That's a new album which is called Suzanne Vega Close Up, Volume 2, People and Places. And here's a message from a gentleman called excuse me. Oh, cheers.
What?
Oh, my God. I nearly choked there. Is there anyone out there in Newry, says John, who woke up one day, probably this week, to discover that their pet parakeet had spread his wings and said, enough is enough. I want to be free, free as a bird, paraphrasing the Beatles. Do not give up hope yet. Yesterday in Ballyholland, I spotted a white parakeet flying around aimlessly, but looking fit and well nonetheless. I hope this bird can be caught and returned to its owner, because I fear the green pastures of South Down will not meet his dietary requirements. P.S. I was glad to hear of you talking to Wendy on Friday on air, because I was under the impression that the two of you had fallen out. The reason for this is because the handover to Talkback never says thanks, Jerry. While Sean was on, she always said thanks. Did she always say thanks to you when you were on?
Well, there was a few words exchanged in the morning, yes.
The reason for this is because at the handover to Talkback, Wendy never says thanks, Jerry. When Sean was on, she always said thanks, Sean.
But when did I have a wee...
Have you?
Yeah, well, we fondness for one another. So
I didn't know about this. When did this start?
There's a wee spark there. Oh, it's been years and years. Just, chums,
Chums?
Friends. Yeah,
Chums?
Yeah.
God blimey, it's all bonkers in here.
There's my old mate. There's my old mate Wendy. That nudge. I mean, nudge.
How long has this been going on?
Oh, I would say Wendy and I have this going now. I would say it's over maybe 18 years.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. Yes, it is.
I was never aware of it.
Oh, yes.
I'm quite shocked at this.
Yeah.
All right, then, okay.
Wendy lifts her leg when she sees me.
I'm sure she
No. Let me explain that she
here comes the news.
When she...
Oh, dear.
On 92 to 95 FM
and 1341 medium wave.
This is BBC Radio Ulster.
BBC News at 11 o'clock. I'm Martin Montague. The Irish Central Bank has said the estimated cost of rescuing one of the country's biggest financial institutions, Anglo-Irish Bank, has risen substantially and could reach £30 billion. The scale of the bailout will put further pressure on the government's finances at a time when Ireland is already finding it increasingly expensive to service its huge deficit. But the Finance Minister, Brian Lenihan, says there's no alternative because the failure of Anglo-Irish could bring down the whole economy.
If we hadn't done that, the bank had grown to half the size of our annual national wealth. So clearly a failure of a bank on that scale would do huge damage to the local economy here in Ireland. We've prevented that and prevented that dislocation. That's why we intervened very rapidly 2 years ago and guaranteed the Irish banking system. And since then we've had to go right through the system and establish the exposures in it.
The European Union's Commissioner for Economic Affairs, Olli Rehn, said the EU stood by the Irish people at this difficult time, and he said he strongly endorsed the Irish government's actions.
It is indeed essential that the Irish government is finding a convincing solution to the Anglo-Irish problem and providing a precise cost estimate. We support the Irish government and we stand by the Irish people in these difficult times.
2 men have been arrested in Magherafelt in connection with dissident Republican activity. They're aged 31 and 32. Tourism bosses in County Durham have printed 50,000 copies of brochures claiming Stan Laurel was born in their county in North East England, except he was actually born in Cumbria in the North West. The marketing men say it was an honest mistake. Stan did grow up in the North East but wasn't born there. Unfortunately, they say they can't recall the inaccurate leaflets because so many have been printed already. Well, time now for a look at the weather here in Northern Ireland with Cecilia Daly.
Some sunshine to come, especially towards the east and north coasts. Elsewhere, mist and low cloud will continue to lift and thin, and it should be fairly bright for a time. Clouds will increase by the afternoon with a few showers likely. Not as mild today with a high of 15 or 16 Celsius, but also a noticeable southeasterly breeze. Becoming damp and windy tonight with a low of 9 degrees.
BBC News.
BBC Radio Ulster. Travel news.
There's a lane closure on the Gannavy Road in Crumlin for resurfacing. That's from Station Road to Lock Road. In Dungannon, the I4 Granville Link Road South is closed. A diversion will be in place via the Killylis intersection. In Belfast, the lane is closed on the Shankle Road. That's between Agnes Street and Glenwood Street. At George Best Belfast City Airport, the 5 to 10 Flybe Southampton arrival has now been cancelled, and at Belfast International Airport, the 10:45 arrival from Heathrow is now expected at 11:30. Michael Bedwell reporting.
Travel news on BBC Radio Ulster.
On Talkback with Wendy Austin today, NAMA banks bad debts. Yeah, it's beyond me too, I'm afraid. We'll try to make sense of the whole mess with a couple of experts. Attention deficit disorder. Doctors say it's all in the genes. Do you think it's just bad behaviour? We'll find out what makes a grown man cry. But the answer could have been that motivational call from the great Seve Ballesteros to the Ryder Cup team. What's motivated you in your life? Tell me on Talkback at 12.
When did you last lift your leg? Listen, when these people have been on, they seek a retraction, or at the very least some clarification.
Well, yes, well, what I meant was, when I tried to say, the news interrupted me. When Wendy and I would meet, we would say we would embrace, you know this, mwah, mwah. You know that?
Air kissing?
You know all that.
Yeah.
But Wendy and I don't do that. We just say, hello, and Wendy would give me a wee hug, and she lifts her leg up like Marilyn Monroe. That's, you know, where they lift their leg up the back. That's
I'm
all.
not happy with that.
Yes. And
You'll have to show me that the next time you see her.
Well, that means I have to embrace you.
No thanks. This is a song I played yesterday. Got a lot of requests to play it again because nobody had ever heard it before, and neither had I until the day before yesterday. It's a strange title. It's called Cell Phones Ringing in the Pockets of the Dead. It's about 9/11. Willie Nile. I never heard of him before either, but what a great record this is.
Undertaker said, cell phones pockets of the dead. Cell phones are ringing in the pockets of the dead. Hey, hey, hey. Mother Nature's looking for the hands of Father Time. He's got 'em reaching for the girl in number 9. She's reading horoscopes, looking for a sign, waiting for the train that'll take her down the line. Hey! Ringing in the middle of the street. History's telling stories that a sailor won't repeat. Believers and infidels are fighting in the heat, while bodies of the innocent are covered with a sheet. Hey, hey! Hey, hey, hey! I said, hey! Hey, hey, hey! Everybody's looking for what they cannot find. Help the rich and help the fellow man, while senators and congressmen are working on a plan to get some more vacation time to get a deeper tan. Hey! Hey, hey, hey! Sheena's in the jungle trying hard to keep it real. The doctor's in the alehouse trying to cop a feel. The Count of Monte Cristo wants to make another deal. Dracula's in the kitchen and he's looking for a meal. Hey! Hey, hey, hey! Everybody's looking for what they cannot find. I'm down here on Bleecker Street trying to read your ferry boat to Mars, while Juliet is creeping through the closets of the stars. Romeo is on the run, smoking blue cigars, putting cocoa butter on the cover of the scars. Maggie May and Captain Hook are walking down the aisle. The president saunters in astride a crocodile. The Ayatollah swears he is not a pedophile, and the rights of man don't mean a damn here in the age of style. Hey, hey! Hey, hey, hey! I said, hey!
Two songs, Odd Bedfellows. First of all, we had Landslide by Fleetwood Mac featuring, Stevie Nicks. And that was a song called Cell Phones Ringing in the Pockets of the Dead by Willie Nile. Look at this. Now, Halloween. What are people doing on Halloween? Maria, I'm a big fan, and I've always been a big supporter because I think they do great work of Macmillan Cancer Support. Maria is with me. Now, I would do anything, but I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. A fire walk. You want people to walk across red hot coals.
Yeah, it's basically just to tie in with the theme of the celebrations that go on in the city here. It's famous for its Halloween celebrations.
Yeah.
And we thought that this year, what better way to bring in Halloween than to walk over hot coals?
I'm not going to do this. You asked me to do this yesterday, and I said no. I mean, how can I possibly do that without my feet turning into like horrible, massive burns? I mean, well, what's the secret behind it not getting burned?
Basically, it's all motivational. You will have a 2-hour lecture, motivational talk,
right,
with 2 very experienced people who do this for a living, and they will talk you through all the health and safety aspects.
Health and safety aspect. You're going to take off your shoes and walk over red hot coals, and they're going to say, "Oh, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You won't be burnt."
You'll be that psyched up by the end of it that you.
How do you not get burnt? How do you not get burnt? It's because you run across them.
You can walk at whatever speed you want, but generally people do it as quickly as they can.
Depending on how much foot you want left at the end of it. All right, so this is Halloween.
Yeah.
That's in the Quayside in Derry-Stoke Londonderry. Of course, people are welcome. I mean, a lot of people do visit the city on Halloween.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, for this great charity, it's a registration fee is £25. Minimum sponsorship. Well, that's another thing. That's a different. What's that minimum sponsorship thing?
That's the registration fee covers the cost of the event per person.
Yeah.
So anything, the sponsorship of £125
Yeah.
will basically all be coming to Macmillan. So we want people to get behind us, to register to take part, and to raise as much money as they can for us.
Okay, we'll give you a little phone number. There's a way that you could put something back, Sean.
No, what?
You can put something back into the community by doing something like this. I can't do this because
why can't you do it?
Because I'll have me socks on.
Yeah, no, you should do it. That'd be good.
No, but I can't. I'm too afraid to do that.
That would be newsworthy because the TV cameras will turn
you
up
think
for that
so?
for you, Jerry.
Well, I'll
yes.
do it then.
Yes, Jerry will do that certainly.
I think maybe a double act. Maybe you could both take
no. I wouldn't like to be burnt with him. No, you won't get burnt then.
No, it's very, very safe. The company are very reputable.
Okay.
In all the years that they've done it, nobody has got burnt with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so what number do people ring, or how do they contact you,
You
or
can
whatever?
contact me either on my mobile on 07894 936 355.
Yeah.
Or you can phone the Belfast fundraising office on 02890 708616. Or if you'd like to email, you can email me on mmcglenon.
That's your surname, M. McGlennon?
Yeah,
at Macmillan.
macmillan.org.uk, and we'll send you out your registration form and then your sponsorship pack.
Okay, I've got all the information, and we've got all those numbers and the email address. Anyone who's interested in that. That's Halloween night, a firewalk for Macmillan Cancer Support. Test your nerve. I won't be there. What do you mean, where?
Where is it?
Quayside, Derry-Stoke Londonderry.
I didn't hear that.
That's because you weren't listening. If you'd listened, you'd hear all the stuff in the programme.
There's going to be loads happening down at the Quayside. The City Council have bands there from 5:30 till 8:30, and there's a Halloween parade that starts and ends there. So it should be a really good night, and there's fireworks in between.
Well, it's the biggest Halloween celebration in Europe. Derry-Stoke
yeah.
Londonderry Halloween. It's with something like 40,000 people due there. So if you want to start the evening off with a bang, that's how you do it. All right, Maria, we have all the information here. Anyone who's interested, give us a ring here.
Fantastic.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for a million. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Disco dancing with the lights down low. The beats are pumping on my stereo. The neighbors are banging on my bathroom wall. They're saying, crank that bass, I wanna hear some more. Water's running in the wrong direction. It's a feeling, it's a mixed up sign. I can see it in my own reflection. Something strange is going on inside my mind. I don't know what's pushing me higher. It's a static from the floor below. Then it drops and catches like fire. It's a sound I know. The sound of the underground. The beat of the drums go round and around into the overflow, where the girls get down to the sound of the radio. Out to electric night, where the bass line jumps in the backstreet lights. The beat goes around and around. It's the sound of the underground. a chain reaction running through my veins. It pumps the bass line up into my brain. It screws my mind until I lose control. And when the building rocks, I know I've got my soul. Water's running in the wrong direction. Got a feeling it's a mixed up sign. I can see it in my own reflection. Something strange is going on inside my mind. I don't know what's pushing me higher. It's a static from the floor below. Then it drops and catches like fire. It's a sound I know. The sound of the underground. The beat on the drum goes around and around into the overflow, where the girls get down to the sound of the radio, out to electric nights, where the bass line jumps in the backstreet lights. The beat goes around and around. It's the sound of the underground. It's the sound of the underground. It's the sound of the underground.
That's the four of us underground. Oh, sad to hear that Tony Curtis is dead.
Yeah.
Tony Curtis, died aged 85. The word just came in through the wires. That's so sad. Tony Curtis became quite famous here recently. He said the F word to William Crawley, didn't he? Recently on Talkback or something.
Oh,
or Sunday Signals. Yeah,
sure.
he did. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, a couple of months ago. Yeah, he was here. He had a book out and he was doing an interview with, I think it was William Crawley, and he said something terrible. He apologised because he didn't realise it was live. Oh, it was okay. But he was in some of the best movies ever. Some Like It Hot, of course, The Defiant Ones, Boston Strangler. I liked him in It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World. But what was the best movie ever made?
Oh, that's a matter of opinion.
No.
I loved him in The Boston Strangler.
No, the best movie ever made was Sweet Smell of Success with Burt Lancaster. What did he say in that? The cat's in the bag and the bag's in the river. The cat's in the bag and the bag's in the river. What did Burt Lancaster... He played the part of Sidney Falco. I think it was Sidney. Yeah, Sidney Falco, this press agent. He was always sucking up to Mr. Hunsaker, who was Burt Lancaster. Yeah. What did Burt Lancaster always say to Tony Curtis when he came in? What did he always say?
I don't know.
He used to bring out a cigarette, put it in his mouth, and he'd look over at Tony Curtis and he'd say, "Match me, Sidney."
I remember that film.
Match Me, Sidney. Great film. If you haven't seen it, never mind. Defiant Ones is excellent. The Defiant Ones was a white guy and a black guy who'd escaped from a prison who were chained together.
That's right.
And at the time it was made, I think it was the late 50s or early 60s. It was very, very advanced because people didn't really want to talk about interracial relationships and things like that. And so he was chained to Sidney Poitier. Yeah. And he didn't like black people, and it was a great film. Who were the two original people who were supposed to make that movie?
Oh, I know Elvis was one.
Who was the other one?
Elvis wanted to do it. Colonel Parker, they wouldn't.
Colonel Tom Parker wouldn't let him do it.
Elvis do it.
If Elvis Presley had made that,
he would have been a big star.
It would have been
an actor.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you've got me.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Can you imagine Sammy Davis Jr. and Elvis Presley? Wouldn't that be great? The little guy, you know. The thing that was wrong with Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis was that Sidney Poitier was actually taller than Tony Curtis.
Well, sure, Elvis was taller than Sammy Davis.
That's my point.
So what?
It's better if the guy is wee. Do you know what I mean? It's better if one is shorter than the other. The one who's downtrodden. It's better if the one who's downtrodden is shorter.
Yeah.
And then he has the strength of character to overcome the racial difference and the height difference as well.
Yes.
But not the fact, Sidney Poitier, I didn't think that worked because Sidney Poitier was more statuesque and looked more intelligent and looked stronger and was taller than Tony Curtis. Yeah. But that worked on a different level. Match me, Sidney. The cat's in the bag and the bag's in the river. Anyway, R.I.P. Tony Curtis.
Jim's on one.
Jim. Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
Jim. How are you?
After listening to some of them records, Jerry, oh dear.
You're obviously upset.
Jerry, oh dear.
Dear. Let me talk you down. You see, this is a thing that I've had trouble with before. See, you can't please everyone. And there's some people are left behind. And unfortunately, in this program, it's the majority of the listeners. Only one man can please everyone, and that's Hugo. I can't help you. What? Anything in particular that you didn't like? It really enraged you?
Oh, dear, that song, the cell phone ringing in the
Pockets of the Dead. But I thought I think it's a great record, actually. Well, why did you? And subject matter may be objectionable, yeah.
It's just noise.
Of course it is. That's what's called rock and roll.
But there's no, Jerry, you know, every song or every record, or when you hear a bit of music, does your mind not start to paint a picture like a story? You know, you start to fall in, you know, and you start, and there's words, you know. Every song paints a picture, and you follow it, you know, that whoever wrote that song really experienced. But see, when you hear stuff like that there, it's like, I'm not a fuddy-duddy against rock and roll, you know what I mean, not against that, but that was just complete confusion and noise.
Well, you see, there's all types of music. There's music that's reflective.
Oh, dear, I know that, Jerry. I'm well aware of that. There's
I know that.
There's all types of music. But you know, Jerry, when you say there's people ringing in and want to hear that again, I said to your or one of them girls here, I think the one who rung in about that record to hear it again, I think that call came from Knockbracken Healthcare Park.
Mm-hmm. Well, I understand the fact that you don't like the song, but you know, sometimes rock and roll can be just visceral, rather.
I like rock and roll. I like some of the rock and roll. I like some of the good rock. I like Jimi Hendrix. I like some of the good, but that there was just noise.
All right, then we'll just have to beg to differ, and I respect your right, and I will defend your right to the death to ring up this program and tell me that you don't like this music.
Yeah.
No, I understand. That's quite all right. I can't convince you otherwise. But I mean, you're right.
Jerry, you forgot the other film in the Tony Curtis repertoire there.
Yes.
Did you mention Houdini?
Oh, I remember Houdini. Yes, of course. He was great in that.
Exactly.
Not a terribly popular movie, but
he ain't got a good part in it, Jerry.
He was a great actor. A lot of people didn't realise how good an actor he was until he died. I mean, in Someone Like It Hot, he was brilliant.
He was fantastic.
He was a dramatic actor. He was a comedy actor. Very few people can do the two things.
I know, he was brilliant. He was really, really good.
What was that statement you come out with there now? A lot of people didn't realise how good an actor Tony Curtis was until he died.
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. You don't have to say that.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. Well,
the only bad movie I ever seen him in, Jerry, was the one called The Purple Mask.
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh,
was that a period drama? Was it a period drama?
Yeah, it was about, you know, fencing and all this here. He was
Lancelot, that kind of Knights of the Round Table thing?
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. Terrible. That was one bad film he made. But everyone from that there.
All right.
And the best one you said there, I agree with you, Burt Lancaster's Speech Smell of Success.
The cat's in the bag and the bag's in the river.
Fantastic.
Was he in the Vikings?
Yes, he was.
He was. Yes.
Well,
he was the guy.
He was the guy.
He was the guy. Well.
The Viking horn.
And he was the guy who received universal, well, I suppose, disgust for the way he pronounced his words. See, Tony Curtis was. A lot of people thought he was German because of his name. His name is Bernie Schwartz, but he was from Russian Jewish people. He was a Russian Jew, and in that film, a lot of people. It is Brooklyn accent, which he never quite lost. And there was one line in particular in the film. He was supposed to say, "Yonder lies the tent of my father," and he said, "Yonder is the tent of my father." So people didn't imagine. That Vikings spoke like that.
Yeah.
The tent of my father. Anyway,
Spartacus.
All right, dead on, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate your call.
Yes, it was in Spartacus, yeah, and there was one scene in that was actually excised from the film, and you can see it on YouTube.
Is that so?
And it's a scene between Tony Curtis and Laurence Olivier, when Laurence Olivier is in the bath, right, and Tony Curtis is aiding him. So Laurence Olivier comes out with this whole speech.
Right.
And the speech was about a certain thing.
Listening?
I know, that's why I'm watering it down. Yeah. The speech about a certain thing, but it was very suggestive. So they excised it from the movie.
Now, Harry's on too.
Is he?
He's got some information for you.
Good. About dumps in Coleraine. Hello, Harry.
Hello, Jerry. That's sad news about Tony Curtis.
It is indeed, yes.
Unfortunately, the last couple of callers have somewhat stolen my thunder, but isn't it funny how Kirk Douglas, whom he appeared with in 2 films, is going to outlive them all? And probably Kirk Douglas is the last of all those sort of John Wayne, Burt Lancaster, Gary Cooper, all that sort of old school. But in the film Houdini, believe it or not, that Tony Curtis appeared in, there's a wee reference to Belfast in that film Houdini.
In Houdini, is there really?
Yes, there is.
I never
in
knew
one
that.
Now, in one of the parts in the film, he obviously had just completed one of these tricks. I can't remember what, but there's a bit where it flashes through lots of telegrams sent from all over the world congratulating him. And one of them, believe it or not, at the top of the wee telegram, it's from the York Hotel in Belfast.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well,
So-
sad tale. I'm sure we'll read a lot about it in the papers tomorrow.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's Kirk Douglas is going to, I think he's going to outlive everybody.
Yeah, your Kirk Douglas must be nearly 94 now.
I
93,
think
94.
Is he not even more than that?
No, I think he's 93.
Is he not? You sure?
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I'm not
I'm
sure.
sure.
though.
I'm sure somebody will stand up and tell us.
Uh-huh.
Did you get Spartacus stand up? No.
It's one of the regrets of my life that I never met Kirk Douglas when I got the
I
chance.
thought you were going to say Spartacus.
Spartacus, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Sir.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's that story?
Oh, did you never tell you that story?
No.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was in Hollywood one time. I'll tell you exactly when it was, 1997.
All right.
I was doing a documentary for Radio 4 about Liberace.
Yes, I remember that.
Right?
Very good.
And we went to Los Angeles. It had not changed at all since the 60s. It was almost like Mad Men. That was before Mad Men. And people used to go there because the fellow that owned the place kept it meticulously as a 60s motel. A 60s motel in Palm Springs. So we were staying in it, and the guy who owned the place was very, very nice indeed. And we were the only two that were staying there on that particular night. We were sitting out by the pool, and this guy came out and he said, "Hey, where are you guys from?" And the wee fella said, "I'm from Scotland." He's from Derry. She says, "Yeah, yeah, guys, chatting away about this, chatting away about the other." And then he said, "We've got a very famous neighbour here." I said, "Who's that?" He says, "Kirk Douglas." I said, "You're not serious." She says, "Yeah, he lives in the place next door." I said, "What do you mean next door?" And there's this big fence, sort of big hedge, you see, and obviously a huge property. He said he lives in there. I said, "Kirk Douglas lives in there." He says, "Yeah." He says he spends a lot of his time out in the garden reading in the afternoon. He'd probably be out there at this time. I said, "Do you want to see him?" I said, "What do you mean, do I want to see him?" He said, "Come upstairs with me." So there was a 3-story thing. So we went upstairs and he said, "Look down there." And Kirk Douglas was sitting there reading a book. It was Kirk Douglas because I could see. He gave me a pair of binoculars. I looked at it. It was him. And he said, "Do you want to meet him?" I said, "What do you mean, do I want to meet him?" He said, "Do you want to meet him?" I said, "Well, how could I do that?" He said, I could call over. I said, "I know him quite well. I'll tell him he's a guy from Ireland here, a big fan. Do you want to meet him?" And do you know what I said?
No,
I said,
obviously.
No.
Yeah.
What would I
Because
say
it's
to
wrong. Yeah, but no, you're right to say no.
What would I say to him? There's
Yeah,
a fella reading his
exactly,
book, right?
exactly.
And a fella knocking the door.
Yeah.
"Hi, Kirk, a guy here from Londonderry."
Yeah.
And Kirk would say, "It's Derry."
It's not Londonderry.
He's a Spartacus, you know.
Yeah.
Taking no.
Oh, that's good.
Taking no crap.
No.
Oh, sorry, I played that before.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something else here, and I don't know what it is. Oh, yes, hold on a second. I was trying to think what record I was supposed to play, but I can't remember. Oh, this one here. I've been asked to play a song by Levon Helm.
Did you like Some Like It Hot?
Oh, I loved it.
you?
Matter of fact, I watched it recently. I watch it every now and again. It's a work of genius. It's a work of genius, especially at the end when Joey Lewis is in the little boat.
Yeah.
And he wants to marry Jack Lemmon, who's dressed as a woman. And Jack Lemmon is sitting there dressed as a woman. It's all over. It's the end of the movie. And he turns around to Joey Lewis and he says, "I can't marry you." And the guy says, "Why?" "It's because I smoke." He said, "It doesn't matter." He said, I drink." "It doesn't matter." He keeps saying all the things he is. And then he whips off the wig and he says, "I'm a man." And Joey Lewis has said, "Nobody's perfect." That's the way the movie ends. Great movie. Best script ever. Anyway, here's the health minister has sent me an email. "Hello, health minister here. Please inform the people that I will be on strike until further notice. Any people who feel ill while I'm on strike, please wash your hands with the alcohol gel provided. Do not lick your hands afterwards, especially not on a Sunday, as alcohol is forbidden on the Lord's Day." And may I take this opportunity to invite the people of the province to cheer up and not be too downhearted, as Bobby Ferrin said in his amusing song, and in accordance with the EU Directive 429B subsection 6 of the Human Rights Act of 1997, to wit, don't worry, be happy. What do we want? Happiness. When do we want it? Now. As soon as is possible in the near future, pending outcome of the ongoing consultation process. Continue on. Oh, and by the way, I've got 250,000 swine flu jabs. I'll swap them for a second-hand Ford Mondeo, if you have one out there.
Oh, I got me a woman, she's a pretty good woman at that. We live with a monkey and a Chinese acrobat. She calls me Tex, makes me wear a cowboy hat. But I don't care, she's a pretty good woman at that. Nothing in the world make me treat that woman mean. She shaves my beard and she keeps my tractor clean. She burns my bread, makes me eat turnip greens. But I don't care, she's the best little woman I've seen. Some folks, they move out to California, and some folks, they stay in Tennessee. And I don't care where I'm headed, just as long as that woman stands by me. Slide trombone. She talks in tongues. Oh, she really turns me on. With a woman like that, a man never wants to roam. Some folks, they move out to California. Some folks, they stay in Tennessee.
That's the indestructible Levon Helm. That's a song called Got Me a Woman from an album, his comeback album after a bout of cancer was called Dirt Farmer. He's got one after that, but that was his comeback album. I'm wrong here. Oh, sorry about that. Apology to make. The late Tony Curtis, we've just heard of his death, was Hungarian Jewish. Of course he was. I was thinking of Kirk Douglas, who indeed is Russian Jewish. Kirk Douglas, very interesting guy. His real name was Issur, Issur. That was his not his surname, but his Christian name. And he wrote a great book of autobiography, which is really worth reading. It's called The Ragman's Son. His father didn't speak English, and he was a Russian Jew when he came to New York, and his mother didn't really speak much English either, and he was a ragman. It's a great, great, great book, The Ragman's Son, if you ever see it. Tony Curtis was in It's the Mad, Mad, Mad World. Yes, he was, of course, I mentioned that. Was he not? The Great Race. The Great Race. I'm sorry.
Yes.
When he wore the white suit and the custard pie thing and nobody ever hit him. Sorry about that. If you don't burn, you're a witch and they kill you. If you burn, you're innocent. Never mind that Hallion. Your music is top notch. No, I wouldn't call that man a Hallion. It's just a man expressing himself. Tony Curtis was great in the film about Ira Hayes. I don't think I saw that.
No.
Yeah, why is there an echo when two clowns are talking? That's me and you, I think. Jerry, if you have Barry Fleming's Getting Late, can you please play it? Sean, your man said didn't appreciate Tony Curtis until he died. Don't let him off the hook. Did I say that?
You did say that.
He also starred in Trapeze with Charlton Heston. Women loved those tights. See women? He couldn't be up to them. Please read out that phone number again. 08459 555 678.
No, it's not that phone number.
What phone number?
I think it's the phone number.
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
sorry, for the Firewalk.
Firewalk.
Oh, sorry about that. Belfast number 02890 708616, or the mobile number for the young lady called Maria 0789 493 6355. Gentleman writes to me and he's...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Have you heard the ad? The guy, it's someone doing Johnny Cash. Been to Ballymena, it mentioned every place in Northern Ireland.
No, I haven't.
No,
heard
I've
that.
been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere, man, yeah.
Have you heard?
Ballymena, Tandragee,
I would
and
just
that.
love to know who's doing it.
Oh, really?
It's for BT, but the guy, I mean, to me, it's Johnny Cash.
It's probably somebody really talented like William Caulfield.
William Caulfield apparently was telling your jokes last night.
That's how desperate he is. I'm dragging myself out of bed, said Graham Stewart. I don't tell jokes. What do you mean he's telling my jokes? I don't tell jokes.
No, it's a text message there.
What does it say? Does it elaborate?
It's in front of you.
Is it?
It's there somewhere.
Have I got it here? Hold on a second. Let me look through this. There's a dump in the Craigaholier Road. Jerry, can you tell that story again? My bowels are going to open and they can't wait. That's a wee bit too much information. Jerry, any chance of playing Imelda May? Have you heard her? Oh, yeah, she's great. Why were Swedish sailors with NATO? Is Sweden not neutral? No. I remember Swedish sailors. No, I do remember Swedish sailors and Dutch and Danish. Yeah, no, they were in NATO. Tell Hammerhead William Caulfield was stealing his very old jokes last night. Yeah. I think that's cruel because I don't tell jokes. I'm a joke-free person because I don't know when to laugh. I'm dragging myself out of bed for this, says Graham Stewart. Do you realise the inconvenience? In between the extraordinary revelations and references to leg-ups and leg-overs with Wendy, I wonder if I misheard the news itself. In relation to the Anglo-Irish bailout, did you listen to the news?
No, we
Maybe
were busy.
No,
we were
okay.
busy. We do things with the news as well.
Yeah, you talk.
Yeah.
In relation to the Anglo-Irish bank bailout, did I really hear the European minister repeated on the news as saying, I'm glad we've found a final solution to the Irish problem? I think I may have. Watch out for that Central European Bundesbank, or you'll all be financing your own vaporisation up the chimneys of the New World Order. But imagine what a mess that'll make of the Irish cap and trade carbon emissions balance book. I worry about yous in solidarity. I don't think he said that, but I imagine probably he didn't mean it. I think you misunderstood. There we go.
There's a man on one waiting.
I know that. Hi, Jerry. I may have misinformed you on the setting for cell phones ringing. It was actually written in 2004 after the Madrid train bombs, although New Yorkers have adopted it as it name checks places in the city. 9/11 may have been the seed, but Madrid brought to fruition. Great night at the Black Box last Thursday. Thank you for bringing Stephen Hall to a wider audience. It was a great night. And incidentally, there's a young singer called Aaron Shanley who's launching his album in the No Alibis bookshop tonight. And so go along to that. It's free. And he'll be appearing on this show, Singing Live, tomorrow morning. So I'm looking forward to that. He's a great talent, only a young guy. And, I wish I was young again.
Where is he tonight?
The No Alibis bookshop. You wouldn't know where that is because you don't go anywhere.
Where is it?
Belfast, yeah. Botanic Avenue.
Well, that's all I did know.
I know, but you didn't know that. Everybody knows that. You didn't know that because you don't go.
Janet didn't know.
I know, but she doesn't go out anywhere either. What's wrong with you people?
Johnny, who's walking his dog in a field, says, Gerald, I loved your show today. You've brightened my day and made me a happier man. That's a man walking his dog in a field. This is your... what about the man on one?
There's a great folk musician I have to introduce to you. You'd love her. Her name is Anais Mitchell, and the album is Hadestown. I haven't stopped listening to her since I first heard her track back in March. Love the show. That's Maeve and Derry, right? Thank you for that. Filled in at display at the RDS amongst the items on display is a £10 note lent to him by... You know, every time I look at the statue of Phil Lynott in the little street beside, what do you call it, that street? Harry Street? Beside the Bruxelles pub, which used to be called the Zodiac in Dublin, off Grafton Street. There's a statue of Phil Lynott. And he's standing there with his guitar. And I know who gave him that guitar. And he's standing with the guitar, and every time I go past it, I always say to him, what about that tenor, eh? What about it, eh? What's the crack? What about that tenor, eh? But he never, ever answers. How are you going, Jerry? Oh, sorry. Jerry, could you please say a big happy birthday to my mother, Goretti McCann, who is now 40 plus. For her 5 sons, could you please play Cara Dillon? I don't have any Cara Dillon with me. Jerry, what did Jason Donovan get his hair from? Yeah. Did you see that last night? Did you see that?
No. What's that?
Yeah, that's what you said. You said...
Yeah, Jason Donovan. They're all about Jason Donovan, but I didn't see. What was he doing?
No, you said he was at it.
Yeah, he was at it.
I thought you meant the hair.
He's at the hair.
Oh, I know. That's
what I'm saying.
That's what this person is saying. Where did Jason get his hair from?
Yes.
2 years ago, he was baldy.
Yes.
He started the lottery draw last night and had a full head of hair. He must have went to Tenerife. Mm-hmm. Everybody who goes to Tenerife comes back looking 10 years younger with a full head of hair.
You're going there soon, aren't you?
I'll be, yes.
You'll be in Tenerife soon.
I've got a cheap flight.
Yes.
But may I say...
Are you going this side of Christmas or after Christmas?
No, may I just say... Let me just say for the benefit of the listeners.
Yes.
Now, don't be getting wrong here.
No, I will be getting wrong.
Don't be getting wrong.
Right.
Don't be getting this thing wrong. The implication is that I am going to have a little surgery done. This is not true. The implication is that I'm going to get a little Botox done.
No.
This is not true.
Not true.
The implication is that I'm getting something done with my face.
No.
This is not true. My face has never been touched by a human hand.
Yeah.
Although I try hard. Nobody wants to touch it. I may.
Yes,
Martin. Get a little something done with my bunts.
Right, but we're not going to say.
Because I look around me and I see men who used to be baldy who aren't baldy anymore.
Yes.
Who don't seem to be all that, put
so
out by it. And name and no names.
No, will this be a Christmas present or will it be after Christmas?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you, Sean. Oh, please. No, don't. It's very expensive, Sean. Please don't go all that way for me.
What about the man?
We're on Radio 1 all the time, apparently. Did you hear this?
No.
People are playing us on radio. Greg James and all those people. Why don't they just get Hugo on and be done with it? Here's a poem.
What about the man?
Here's something that the people...
But there's a man waiting for
it. You stop. He probably wants a door for a Triumph Herald. Where is he? Where is he?
He's probably in his bed now. Is that waiting that
Where
long?
was he the last time you saw him?
He was in one.
Hello, sir. I apologise for accusing you of wanting a door for a Triumph Herald. Maybe you don't want that at all. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Sorry for keeping you.
I was going to say...
What?
Keep me waiting that long.
I'm sorry. I'm
a busy man, Jerry.
Well, don't be ringing up here then if you've stuff to do.
Well, here, listen, Jerry, I'm phoning in well, not a complaint, but how foolish can that young fella be looking at dumping Coleraine?
Well, I don't know.
Why go out of your way to pull over on the road and phone in the radio station whenever you can just pull up on the side of the road and ask a local?
But see, he mightn't be in Coleraine. He might. You don't know where he is. And
I've been speaking to him from after that. He was in Coleraine.
He was in Coleraine.
I know him.
And why did he not just ask a local?
Exactly, that's what I'm ringing you for.
I don't know. That's a question you'll have to deal with him.
He mustn't be allowed to talk too much in the house or something.
I think he wanted to be on the radio.
I think that's what it is. Just a wee bit of fame for him.
What's your excuse?
Well, I just wanted to give him a wee bit of abuse, to be honest. And then I had a couple of questions for you.
Go ahead.
And I've a test for you as well.
Okay.
Why are you so hard on Stephen Nolan? Is it because he actually made it in England, or what?
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? No. You see, I didn't have the stomach to do what was necessary to be popular in England.
They didn't like your humour, Jerry, that's all.
No, they didn't, no. But he has as a matter of fact, if anyone's got the stomach to do what's popular in England, he's got it in spades.
He's a quarter size now, isn't he, Jerry?
He's getting bigger, I think. He was getting smaller for a while, but now he's getting bigger again.
He tried telling us on the radio the other day he's eating an apple. I find that hard to believe.
He's eating an apple. It's stuffed between 2 fillet steaks.
Or a pork loin.
It's in the mouth of a pig's head.
Very good.
All right,
anyway, the other subject, Jerry.
Right, yes.
I have a test for you.
Right.
I phoned Sean when you were away there.
Oh.
And I made a wee request, and fair play to the man. He got Janet or one of the girls there to put it on straight away.
You mean?
Yeah, I'm going to give you.
Hold on a minute. You asked him to do something, and the girls did it right away.
While I was on the line.
What is this true? Yeah. You mean the girls are actually doing things for you, things that they would never do for me?
Well,
what is this?
Take the hint, Jerry. No,
they've never done that. They've never done anything for me.
Anyway, and you'll be more raging whenever you hear what it was. He played an Elvis song for me too.
Which was it?
What Now, My Love? But I'm going to put a test to you and see if you're any good on the radio and good for the people that's listening to you and paying your wages.
What's this?
I would like to hear a wee song called The Green Fields of France.
No.
Why?
Because I hate that song.
Oh, that's a good song. That's a nice song.
Of course it's a nice song, but you could be bored of that in this programme. This is a programme for good music.
Well, half the type you're playing.
Well, thank you. I'll play it if the girls get it for me.
Well, here, I want to hear it now.
I'll get it if the girls get it for me. It's
on YouTube.
Challenge. No, I can't leave here. I'm in charge of the shop.
That's what I'm saying. They'll get it on YouTube.
Okay, girls, go on. No, but you see, no. Let me tell you. If you get something, you can't transfer it from YouTube onto the air. We can't do that.
Ah, right.
No. No, it's not that we're not allowed to do it. We can't technically do it, even if we wanted to.
Stick a microphone beside the speaker and let it belt.
Yeah, that's not the way we work in the BBC here. We have certain standards. Go away.
Right, bye.
Bye. Did you hear that? You encourage this kind of thing.
I did not. It was Janet's man. There's a call on too. Apparently it was Joe E. Brown.
Joey Brown, yeah. Joey Lewis, did I say? I'm sorry. See, when I'm talking like this, I don't know what I'm
I
saying.
know.
You can't think. I mean, you can't stop and try and get the name right.
What about two?
Joey Brown, yeah. Joey Brown is great. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Would you like a door for a Triumph Herald?
I'd love one.
Okay.
But, Jerry, will you lend us a tenner? It's a shame Peter wasn't off earlier because someone just fired up the bagpipes outside my house.
Really?
And started playing live for the first time in their life. That would have been great over the radio.
Where is this?
It's southwest Scotland. I won't be more precise. I don't want to give my destination, my geographic location away over the radio.
That's quite all right. So there's
very
a man.
Dangerous.
There's a man blowing the pipes outside your door.
Blowing out the pipes. Yeah, I think that was a fantastic. Going back to Kirk Douglas, the best movie. Have you heard of Jerry the Swimmer?
Oh yes, Burt Lancaster.
No, Douglas.
It was Burt Lancaster. The swimmer. He swam. He went to Hollywood and he was cracking up and he crossed from A to B, swimming in everybody's pool.
Are you sure it's not?
Absolutely, 100%. 100% Burt
Michael
Lancaster.
Douglas's father in that movie.
Pardon?
Are you 110% sure about that?
180% sure.
180. Oh, that's too high for me. I'm not going higher than that.
Okay, I'll raise you 200.
Yeah, no, you've already got the card stacked. I can't go.
200% sure, Burt Lancaster.
All right, I'll go on. I'll have a look on the web.
Do. It's a great film.
All right, Jerry.
It's a great film. It's a man just falling to pieces.
Well, it's surreal. I mean, it's a surreal movie, and that's why I thought it wasn't in Kirk Douglas's genre.
No, he would jump into somebody's pool and then he'd get out of the pool and then he'd talk to the people who lived in the house.
Yeah.
And then he'd go to the pool next door and he'd talk to them. And he was cracking up. It was a great film.
Oh, yeah, it's a great movie, yeah.
Anyway, listen, thank you very much. I have to go now. We're running out of time.
That's all right, mate.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Margaret's Margaret's going out.
Well, congratulations to Margaret.
She wants to talk to you before she goes out. What's all this Russian?
That's Jerry. Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Jerry, Russian to me. I have to go to a wee mixed community thing. That's why I'm Russian. It's up in a wee church, right?
Yes.
And I'm trying to get all my words in now. This wee person now, she's from the opposite community from me. And I was there last week, and she'd asked me to ask a special favour of you because she listens to you like me, unfortunately.
Good.
But the thing is, she has this doll. I don't know where it belonged to her mum that passed away there about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it's personal, or it's very sentimental to her now. Now, it's a doll, and it's a 1985 cricket doll.
A 1985, yeah, okay.
1985 cricket doll.
What's a cricket doll?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her. I never had to say what I asked for her, not, but I'll find out for you. But it's a 1985 cricket doll, and it's very sentimental to her, and there's parts of it's broke, and she wants to know, would you be able to get in contact with somewhere that has a hospital that be able to get this doll fixed? No Doll's Hospital.
A Doll's Hospital, yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay, anyone who would fix a 1985 cricket doll, even though I don't know what that is. And
No.
are you in Belfast, yeah?
I'm in Belfast, Jerry.
All right,
yes.
okay. We put the call out. Sometimes we've done that in the past, and we discovered there are one or two places that people can go to. All right,
we do that because she'll be listening to say now, and if you don't put it out, she'll think that I didn't say mention it.
Oh, no, your conscience is clear. It's done. And, it shall be done. No, don't worry. Yeah,
I not need to go to confession then?
No, there's no need for that. I absolve you from all your sins. Okay.
Thanks very much, Jerry.
Goodbye, my child.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. God bless.
Why?
God bless. Up, down. Up, down.
Why are you in a hurry to end the programme?
I'm not in a hurry to end the programme.
Graham, you had no time at all to talk to Graham? I have to go. Go away. Look at the time. We're running out of time.
Sometimes I don't want to talk to anyone. It's a thing that comes over me. I'm sorry, and you never sense it. Whenever I am in the mood of not talking to people, you keep putting a million calls through. Whenever I want to talk to people, you don't put any calls through at all. I think you do it deliberately. I think you look at me and you say, oh, look at him today. He wants a load of calls. I'm not going to put any through. Or sometimes, look at him today. He couldn't be bothered talking to people. Line those calls up. I think you do that. And I see Janet looking, and I see a little look of compliance with her. And I think she knows that this is how it works. Well, the more I indicate that I don't want to talk to people, the more there's 8 calls in a row. And when I say, any chance of a wee call there? Never comes. Never comes. That's why I think I'm being, manipulated.
No, the girls would say...
I think you're putting bad notions into their heads. The first time I met Emma, I thought she was nice. The first time I met Janet, I thought, now they've turned on me.
Janet said to me this morning he needs a wee lift.
I know. I need a wee lift. Maybe perhaps Wendy's leg would help me.
Summertime, driving fast down an old back road, feeling fine. You got Skinner on the radio, the moon is bright. Me and my baby gonna break new ground on a blanket in a field of green. Yeah, the crickets sing a song to me. It goes, how about a night on the country? It beats a night on the town. Give me a night on the country. Just those city lights bring me down. Yeah. They burn better than candlelight. Oh, bottle wine down in the holler sings a lullaby. You and me, well, that's just enough company. So, baby, listen to the nighttime breeze. You can hear it singing through the trees. How about a night on the country? It's a night on the town. Give me a night on the country. Cause those city lights bring me down. Yeah, baby, listen to the nighttime breeze. You can hear it singing through the trees. It goes, oh, about a night on the country. It beats a night on the town. Give me a night on the country.
That's a song called A Night on the Country. That's from an artist called Chris Cagle, Cagle, from an album called Chris Cagle, which was out the year 2003. Look, we've solved this little conundrum. That song you mentioned about Johnny Cash.
The BT ad.
Yeah, it's a BT ad. It's
the guy doing Johnny Cash is amazing.
It's by a...
Who is it?
Little, stop. I'm telling you who it is. It's from a Johnny Cash tribute band called Keep It Cash. And they're performing at a gig in the Empire on the 17th of October. And a lady called Louise, thank you Louise, has offered me 2 tickets for that. Anyone will give them to the listeners. We can't do a competition, of course. But yes, Louise, thank you very much. We'll take the tickets for that. And maybe perhaps, have you got a CD of that, a hard copy? I could play it here.
I would love to hear it.
So would I.
Yeah.
And so we'll get a couple of tickets for that and then a couple of listeners. Me and you'll go.
Yeah.
We haven't been out together for such a long time.
I'm going with Wendy.
Wendy might object. Back tomorrow.
Away you go, the pair of you. It's 12 o'clock. This is Talk Back with Wendy Austin.